Hi and welcome to the FrankenCoder Getting Started video. We're going to go over setup. You don't need to open a workspace for this, but I'm just going to go ahead and have one ready. Takes a second when you're loading up a huge project. So this one's 26,000 messages. This one's 18,000. So it's large chats. All right, in your AI settings here, you're going to open up on the providers tab. Go ahead and enter the API key for any cloud providers you want to use. Same thing for local. Click add provider, choose whenever you add. You don't necessarily need to use one of these. You can let me know and I can add a different one. Or I rented a B200 on a server once and spun up a model there, and I was able to just enter the IP and port and used it no problem. So I think I used FC Inference when I did that. So next we'll go to the models tab. Alright, so this is going to be all your models. These are all hand curated, so if a new model comes out it won't show up right away. I'm adding them all manually, and the reason for that is so I can verify the prices and then also break them down. So you'll notice there's different versions of each model. So you have the 272K and then the 1 million version for GPT-5. The reason it's broken up like that is the costs. If you go over 272K, it costs more, right? So we want to save you money. I want to save myself money. I recommend using the smaller one. Still does a good job. There's no real reason to use the 1 million one, and I'll explain why. We'll just get into it right now. So we'll come over to the settings. All right, here's your context summary settings here. You choose the model, the percentage value, and then if you want to pre-compute it or not. So what happens is when you hit the whatever threshold you set, so I have it at 85%. So at 85% of 272,000 tokens, you're going to do the context summary. It's going to be seamless. You're just going to see an artifact in your chat. It just pops up like this, and your agent's going to keep right on working. It's not going to be no process that takes a minute or two. None of that crap. It's just seamless. It's seamless if you choose pre-compute summaries in background. If you check this right here, if you have this unchecked, then you're going to only compute the summary when you hit that context, which that might take I don't know, a few minutes or less. Should be pretty fast actually. Like you can rebuild the context. So first thing you want to do is this is going to be set to the default T5 local model, runs on your CPU. It's pure crap. I don't recommend you use it. Basically, I just took a T5 model, a whole bunch of my chats, and then I used Haiku to summarize them, and I made a data set out of that, and it did some fine training on the T5. It's got limited context, and it doesn't do a good job right now. I do have a better one that I'm planning on making, but it's not on the immediate horizon. I'll say that. So yeah, you can use a cloud or local model. I recommend using Haiku as your summary model. Works really good. It's cheap and it's fast. So if you want to let's say you left a T5 model and you started doing a bunch of work, and then you was looking at your summary, because it's going to show you your summary. The files that are worked on, that's all procedural, but all this other stuff is done by the model, except for this last part right here. So you have the in context information for the model, and there's also a markdown file with a full summary. It's more detailed that the model can reference anytime, so it doesn't have to go through the whole code base and start searching stuff again. It can just look at that detailed summary. Yeah, let's say you started off and you didn't change the summary model and you was using that T5 crap. You just right click on the chat tab and just click rebuild context summary, and it's going to start rebuilding the whole thing. Back to the models. So whatever model you choose here is going to be what's your context is. So if you choose the 1 million one, it's going to be 1 million. So if you choose 85% and you're using a 1 million model, it's going to do the summary at 850,000 tokens. I mean, if you got that kind of money to throw around, that's fine. It slows the model down for one, but here's the other problem with the prompt caching, especially if you're using Anthropic models, really any of them. Let's say prompt caching is only for 5 minutes, and you're using a long shell command, and you're setting it, 600,000 tokens of context. Well, that shell command takes more than 5 minutes. That cache is gone. Next thing you know, the model starts working again, and you're doing a 600,000 prompt caching write. And those are expensive. So you want to limit that as much as you can. So input cached. I don't know if we have a cached write cost here. Oh, we do. Cache writing. Cache writing costs, $6 per million for different models, but $18 Opus. So that's why I recommend staying away from the 1 million model. For your local models, I can't tell what your local model is. So you have to come through and manually set what its capability is. So if it's a chat model and it doesn't do anything else, just leave it as chat, which they'll default to. Or if it has vision capability, choose vision. So this is still rebuilding the context summary. I don't know how long it's taking, but it's going through 18,000 messages. So it's not going to look at every single message. How the context summary works is it does every single user message, or whatever you send, and then it does the preceding agent message. So usually, when an agent or any model, really, they give you a detailed summary like this: session summary, blah blah blah, what they did. So we look at that message and we summarize that. So that keeps the model calls low. And I think we did one, and I think it costs like 12 cents or something like that, using Haiku to summarize a large chat like this. We're not gonna wait. Anyway, so the other thing is flex models. They're 50% is the standard model, but they're the get in where you fit in kind of thing. Like this is a flex model here, and let's see how it works. And actually, we'll open up one over here. We'll do the exact same model, and we'll just do the normal one. Let's do the 272. So is the one on the left going to be any faster than the one on the right? I don't know. We'll see. So to let you know, in my testing, the flex models were actually faster than the standard models, even though they're not supposed to be, because I don't think anybody ever uses them. So like I said, this one did the same thing as this one, or the one on the right did the same thing as the one on the left, but it cost 50%. All right, when you come down here and look at your context bar, it tells you like what your cache write, cache read, all that stuff is, and how many you have cached. Keep in mind, these are only for 5 minutes, so if you sit around for a while, then you're going to be doing cache writes again. So it's best to just keep the work flowing. Next, we'll come down here. You got your specialized models. So you have your image generation or your video generation. These are both used by the media generation tool. So whatever you have picked here is what's going to be used for the media generation. You make sure it has it activated. Yep, it's right here. So yeah, it's going to use GPT image 1.5 and then Grok Imagine video for the two things. The vision model. So this right here is going to override whatever you have down here, right? So if you have a local provider here that doesn't have a vision capable model, then you can set one here like Haiku or whatever, so you always have vision capable. If you do have a vision model here, then it won't be a problem. Also, this model is also used for the document intelligence, right? So that's if you upload an image or something like that and you want to get a description of it for your document intelligence, that's the model that would be used. The speech, we have built-in whisper model over here on the FC Inference. It's the second from the bottom. You just fire up your old whisper, and it's built in, runs on your CPU. It's perfectly fine for transcription stuff. Indexing, everything is indexed locally on your own computer. You choose where you want it to be indexed at. And so you come down here, choose this location, and it'll tell you where it's or where you're going to be storing it. It'll calculate the size and all that stuff. You don't really need to index your workspace. Like, it's for the semantic search. We're going to have it search conversations and search memory, and do the semantic search tool. So it's going to test all three of those. And so when you can open these up, and it's going to show what was found for each one. So we have two different conversation searches. One searches the workspace local that you're currently in, and then the other one searches global. So we have a global search also. So 6 months ago in a different project, you solved a problem, you want to figure out what you was working on, you can just ask it, and it can search back through there and find out what you did. So anyway, yeah, you don't really need to index your workspace unless you want the semantic searches and stuff. You can choose how many workers and the batch size, and that just uses more resources but indexes faster. Systems test, it just, test everything here in the system, let you know things are healthy or not. All right, let's go to the settings. We got spell check, no one cares. Okay, you got your workplace safety. I don't want any local model or cloud model for that matter deleting your production database or whatever. So if you enable require confirmation for deleting something, it's going to require you to approve every deletion, right? So you can delete it or not. With that said, we'll just talk about the checkpoints real fast. You have a checkpoint UI, like every conversation, like these messages or this text here matches the name of your tabs, right? So all your checkpoints, you can see the file was deleted, right? Or edited or whatever. You can just undo it and then the file will be restored. Same thing here with allow agent to work outside of workspace. If you don't want them to, create a bunch of ... folders in your, system drive, like happened to me with a local model. I was using a Quinn model and it just ruined the whole drive. You lock it down to the workspace. That means none of the tools are going to work outside of the the current workspace folder, and that includes the shell, like the FrankenCoder tool. It's going to reject anything like that. So I can prove that for you right now. Actually, let me turn it back on. So I'll just have it create a file somewhere. Okay, boom, done. Now I turn that off. Have it delete that file. Completely rejected. So can't even use the shell to do it. Okay, clean it up now. I still have a confirmation requirement. It can work outside the workspace now, but it still can't delete the file because it's blocked. Ah, come on, Haiku, don't think about it. Boom, done. All right, so there you go. Safety check. Models are stupid. Your tools don't have to be, and that's been my motto. I don't trust any of these models. Even damn Opus 4.8 likes to delete a file and then try to recreate it from scratch a lot of times. So we talked about context summary. Now I just recommend you keep a pre-compute on, and then choose a Haiku, a GPT Mini. Hell, even a Grok is dirt cheap. It's fast and it does a good job. Cost controls. You can turn this on, and whatever value down here on the bottom right, which is your whole workspace. So this is all the costs that it breaks it down by model. But if you turn this on, it won't work. So it stops the models dead in their tracks. Get a new chat. All right, parallel dispatch. So this is basically like mini agents, right? So let's say you're using Opus down here as your main model, and you want it to search the code base. The default for this tool is same as chat model, right? So whatever model you have down here is going to be the same here. So if you're using Opus and you forget to change this, then you're going to be spinning up to 20 instances of Opus, and that could be quite costly. So what you want to do is come down and use something like Haiku. It's fast, it's cheap, and it does a good job. So how the parallel dispatch works is, like I said, it can spin up to 20, but you can adjust how many it uses, and then you can how many iterations. Now the iteration thing is, it's kind of a soft hard cap. It doesn't really have to stop at 15, but at 15 it's going to get a prompt inject that says, hey, stop what you're doing and report to the user. Sometimes the model ignores that completely. That's okay. So each one of these is an agent exploring the code base, using tools, and then you can kind of peek and see what they're doing. But this keeps your code base cleaner, or your chat cleaner, rather than having, however many tools this is. It's just each one has their own artifact. So what happens is these guys go out and do their work. They get all the context for cheap, and then they report back to the main model with like the path and the file and the code and all that stuff that needs to get changed. So your expensive model isn't rummaging through the code base trying to find out, how XYZ works. So as they complete, build their report and send it. Each report is also capped at 10,000 characters. At initial problem where these guys would give huge detailed reports and just blow out context. So now it's capped. I also find that 15 iterations is good. You can go up to 30, but like I said, they don't really respect it. This guy's already at 20, this one's at 22 and stopped. I'll just do another chat here for batching. So batching, again, it's a way to use a more expensive model for cheaper. It's 50%. And to be good for tasks that you don't need to do right now. There's a tool for that. You just come over here to the planner, you go to other, or planner's the main agent that you chat with, right? Everything starts with a plan, so that should be the main agent you chat with. And it'll give a good summary here of everything they did, and those are cheap. It probably cost like 12 cents. Took 108 seconds. Let's see what the cost was. The cost was 18 cents. So it did all those tool calls. I don't know how many tokens it used, but it was 18 cents in 108 seconds. So I don't know how much that would have cost if you used Opus, but it seems like just saying hi to Opus is like $5. Anyway, going back to the batch tool, you just make sure it's checked here. So you have batch and batch check. So the batch tool, well, let me get ahead of myself here. It's going to use whatever model you have set here. Right, so you choose how many max items you want, and then concurrent batches and things like that. So also, I'm not a presenter, I'm a builder, so bear with me here. So this is the batch job. I don't know how long it can take, but it can take up to 24 hours, right? So you can quit this chat, you can close the IDE, you can come back, and the agent can use the batch check tool to get the data. So like I said, this is good if you need something done, but it doesn't need to get done right away. Sometimes they finish real fast. I'll just let this cook while we move on to other things. Orchestrator limit. This is, again, how long the agent can work. Just leave it as unlimited unless you like to babysit. Audio settings. Just, you can choose the sound or, turn it off or whatever. I like to hear that whoop whoop whenever chat finishes. Again, you can choose your workspace. So this tells you how big the I got 22.8 gigs worth of data and 114 workspaces. Oh, agent self-improvement. The agent can, if you check these options, the agent can propose edits to its system prompt, and we'll cover that in a second. And it can also add a standing order, right? And so these have been real good for me, just because I hate repeating myself to the model and saying the same thing over and over again. So it's like a behavioral thing. So we talked about system test settings. Okay, here, the tools tab. Now every agent that we have here is listed here under the agents tab, and then all the tools available are here also, right? So they all come with a default, and you can change whatever you want. So you can come over here to your planner and you can give it as many or as few tools as you want. I suggest keeping the tools limited. because tools require tokens. So every tool you add increases the very base size of the payload you're sending. With the planner has two defaults. One would be the local model, and the other is the full planner. If you're using a local model, which are dumb, use local model. It gives the planner limited tools and makes it delegate to other agents, right? So the planner would delegate to the prepper for like workspace exploration, right? Also keep in mind a parallel dispatch. You can use it with a local model, so you can set a local model, or you can leave it as a cloud model and then use a local model as your main chat. But if you did set it as a local model, it's going to be slow. Like, we'll use some Gemma 4. So let's try it. Oh, the batch tool already finished. So it didn't take no 24 hours. It was actually pretty quick. 77 seconds. So, and 50% of the cost. Alright, so now I have Gemma 4 set as the parallel dispatch tool. Let's see how that works. While that's cooking, go back to the Tools tab. So, again, if you set the planner to the local model, it gives it limited tools, right? So it doesn't have any file operation tools or anything like that. So it's forced to delegate. So you have your orchestration tools here, so it can do delegate task or bridge to another agent. If you're looking for more of a cursor style planner that can do work, just change it to the full planner and it'll have all the tools, and you won't really notice much difference. You see how much slower it's going than using a cloud provider. It's free and it's still doing the job. The good thing about the parallel dispatch is these guys have their own context. They have their own system prompt, right? So you got the planner, and then you have the main parallel dispatch, but each agent can have its own planner or its own parallel dispatch agent. So you can have the prepper with its own prepper agent or whatever, and you can choose the tools for these also, right? So highly customizable. Or you can have a planner and you can have a parallel dispatch tool for every one of these. You just come down to planner, come to the bottom, worker, you can check all these, and you can just have no other tools. It's however you want to do it. It's your world, I'm just living in it. Yeah, so as far as orchestration goes, so you got the planner, it's the main guy you chat with, right? The prepper, that's your workspace exploration. So you can do the same thing as the parallel dispatch tool. The thing about the specialized agents is they get their own context, they get their own tool payload, and they get their own system prompt, right? So the planner tells the prepper or the executor or whatever agent to do something. And so that model or that agent starts off with their system prompt, their tools, and that direction from the previous agent, right? And so it's a pipeline. So the prepper can call the executor and say, hey, do this plan. So the prepper can call the reviewer can call the tester can call security, the security calls the document agent. So how you trigger that is down here with these toggles in the chat, right? And for these to work, you have to go through the orchestration pipeline. Like if I just turned on review or test or security right now, it's not going to do anything. It has to start with the pipeline, which starts with the prepper or the executor. Either one doesn't matter. If the planner has a good plan, it can just go straight to the executor. If it needs a plan, it can go to the prepper who builds the plan. And so, like I said, each one of those gets its own context. So that keeps your main agent clear. So your chat can go on infinitely. It's a bold claim, but that's how it works. To be honest, I don't use it that much anymore. When I first started out building this about 9 months ago, I was using Quinn, I think Quinn 8. Let's see. Don't get me lying to you. I was using this one right here, Quinn 3 8B with a 40K context. And that was the model I was using on a 4090 to test this thing. And that's what I was designing around. The lowest common denominator. The model was dumb as hell, and it ruined the drive. So I started making my tools and the system smarter. Yeah, so you can create different presets also for your tools. So each agent gets its own preset. Browser planner, I'm going to remove this one. We don't use this anymore. So the actual browser itself used to have a chat like off, but I got rid of that. I didn't need it. Conversational research. This agent lives in your research. So the guy you chat with here is this guy. Cyber agent, cyber tools. Deep research is again works here in the research agent. Documentation main chat, executor main chat. Node is your right here. Controls this, your node graph. And then parallel dispatch, they don't really have a working surface other than the main chat here. Research assistant, that's what I call a mini agent. Yeah, so the rest of them are pretty self-explanatory. How the research assistant and the researcher works is the researcher goes out and finds the stuff to, does the web scraping or whatever, and then the research assistant looks at what their user's request was, what the information we have on hand is, and what the current report is, and then it deconflicts and dedupes it and builds a coherent report, so you're not getting 50 of the same thing. Back to the system prompts tab. See how slow it's still going. It's working. Again, you have access to all the system prompts for all agents here. Every single agent. You can come in and adjust anything you want. Taskmaster, we'll get to that. Each one of the parallel dispatch agents can have its own. Let's look and see if the voice agent was in here, and it's not. It's not yet. But every agent is here. And the only thing that you don't see as far as the system prompt is the stuff that we automatically inject, which is the identity. It doesn't say anything but your FrankenCoder, blah, blah, blah. And then it says what the chat tab is. So whatever this name is, it's going to pass that on to the agent. The current date, the workspace folder, and I think we also inject these settings right here. So if they can work in or out of the workspace. That's also in there. So also with the system prompts, you can create different versions. So you see that this one says auto v1. I'll always address the user as my lord. So like I can show you this right now. I can just say hi. You know, and you can respond with hi. But if I change it to this one, hi my lord. See, they take effect right away and they work. But the agent can also make changes on their own. Let me make sure that I have that enabled here on the planner. Other. Oh, I put it on local, didn't I? There we go. Come back here. Okay, we got all the tools. I don't. Whoop. See, Haiku just did it. It didn't change the system prompt. It added a. Yep, it added a standing order, so we'll come back over here and talk about those. It should have adjusted the system prompt. System prompts, you can adjust the temperature also. It's really mostly important for local models. Cloud models are all fixed. But when the agent does edit the prompt, it'll show up here and it'll be auto, V1, V2, whatever. The next thing is standing orders, which this guy just added. These can be workspace only, like a lot of these deal with FrankenCoder itself, like that's code director. First started building this, I built it for myself, so I just named it code director and said, hey, let's do this. And it wasn't until months later that I was chatting with Claude that he recommended I sell it. But anyway, so these are all, you know, just different standing orders that the agent adds on their own usually. Like sometimes I can trigger it and say, hey, do this or that. But each agent can also have their own standing orders. But for the most part, the planner will be the main one you deal with, and we'll touch on that right now. So here's your different agents. So these all have their own UI. You got your reverse engineering agent right here. You just drop these down. That's a change. And I'll just do a new chat so it's clean. So you just call up the reverse engineering agent, and it's going to start using its tools, and the window automatically opens, and you'll see it as it's using tools. The UI is going to change and follow along. It's not me doing anything. Every bit of this can be controlled by you or the agent, doesn't matter. See, this guy already hit 85%. Reverse engineering is token intensive. Oh, it's testing everything. Same thing for the cyber agent. Actually, we'll do a whole other thing on the cyber agent. Do node agent next. Build a flow to get YouTube videos about AI. Alright, so again, node agent, like it's going to start using its tools. The node graph opens up. It already did it. Yeah, run it. So these can be saved, and I got a bunch in here. A lot of these are there's a built-in test that comes with it too. You can run the test every node just to make sure they work. And again, you can drag and I'm zoomed way up. You drag and drop stuff here on the thing, just connect them up just like any other node system. You can click on them, edit settings here on the side, or you can edit them right on the node. You can delete, all kinds of different tools here. If something doesn't work or there's something missing that you want, let me know and I'll add it. My original thought process for this was, sitting in college doing UML and stuff like that years ago. I wanted to be able to fully build a program out, and you can add all the different stuff you want here, or the agent can do. You can get something like Opus to completely design a full program with every method and all the properties and variables and everything, and just build it all in one go, and it'll all be exactly the spec, including dependencies. So you can come out here and it can just put every dependency you need, both dev and production, and these will all be auto installed. So that's node agent. Browser agent. Comes with the built-in browser. Let's see. So what this does is just going to open up the browser, and it's just going to start using its tools to go through it. It's going to, if it's a vision model or you have a vision model set up, it's going to take screenshots, it's going to click buttons, it's going to go through links and things like that. So I actually built the website this way. It worked great. Oh, it seems we have an error. I'm going to have that fixed right now, or looked into. I have another instance of it running over here to the side. This is the main workspace. Hasn't been cheap building this thing, I tell you. Yeah, so it's going to go through all the pages and scroll down and check everything. We don't need to sit here and wait for that to finish. And then the last one is your cyber agent. And then we'll say test your tools. My Linux server over here for the penetration testing tools, and we'll make sure those work. While we're chatting about this, so again, each chat has how many tokens it's been sent and received, and it also shows the speed. The speed, take it for what it's worth, sometimes it'll say 20,000, so basically it's on a rolling average. So like when a model bursts in a bunch of tokens at once, it's not very accurate. So I already talked about how these toggles work. So use the planner in the local model mode, because if you give the planner tools, the planner likes to do stuff. Alright, so what I'm going to do is turn on all these so you can see how this works, and then hopefully it don't make a liar out of me. Auto resume, so this is for your shell tool. I used to get annoyed whenever shell work was being done, and like it would just stall out, or the agent would start a command and then just, alright, I'm done for the day, and just call it quits, and then it would error out. That's not how things are designed here. The agent will set and wait for the shell to finish. It doesn't cost any extra money for that, so that's just a basic thing. But if the shell crashes for whatever reason, or the agent does not follow instructions, which is common, the auto resume will automatically reprompt the agent with the error message and continue work. A lot of false positives sometimes, like an agent might be going through and using a lot of shell tools, and one of them might fail, and then it'll just get prompted again at the end with one of the failures, and it might be something innocuous. It'll usually just disregard it. So here what happened is the Explorer started looking at the code base, and then it delegated to the prep or the executor, which is actually going to build the file. So your executor does the work. And again, each one of these special agents, they keep all their tools consolidated into one artifact. It's a work session artifact is what they're called. It just keeps your chat cleaner. Your artifacts here, they can all be expanded so you can actually see what's going on here. So we'll just go around. So here you have all your basic stuff. This is the cyber or the watcher. You'll get a notification here. How this works is when you first start it up, it'll get a background reading, and then after 30 seconds it'll start giving you notifications. This isn't designed to replace your antivirus software or anything like that. This is just a work in progress kind of thing. But you got all these different tools and things here. This all works. You have your vault here for things that have been quarantined, and of course with your penetration tools, don't go trying to hack anybody, or like only use this on systems you own or control, just to find weaknesses before somebody else does. And of course it's never going to find everything. Nothing's hack proof, nothing's crack proof, but you can make it harder, not easier. That pretty much covers the cyber stuff. I have the watcher turned off right now, but if I turn it on, it's going to run. I'll just show that real fast. And so I have the notifications in Windows also turned off, but you'll see the notification pop up in the bottom right. Actually, while we're at it, we'll talk about the cyber or FrankenCoder hub. There's FrankenCoder icon down here in your system tray. This is where you have your updates and stuff are. Also the rollback system. So I'm not perfect. AI damn sure ain't perfect. So I do have a private channel for release builds. So anybody who's ever built anything with a dev build would know the dev build always doesn't work as a release build. So sometimes the release build might be broken, in which case I've had to use the rollback system myself to fix things. But up here on the help tab, you got the switch channel update, so you can go on the public or the private channel. I recommend you stay on the public channel. You just switch whatever version you want to go back to. It's a good quality of life feature, I think. Anyway, you can control your cyber agent from here and your updates. Since we have some things going on here, I don't know what's happening, and we'll just investigate that. So it's going to spin up your cyber agent, and it's going to start looking into things, right? It automatically sent all this stuff to it to look into, and we'll let that run, and it'll give a report. So let's talk about the bridge tool, right? So you have all these different agents here. They're all user-facing agents, right? Like you can chat with all of them. So the planner can use a bridge tool, and it can call the reverse engineering agent and call any of these other agents, right? And so you'll see that happen in the chat. It'll just hand off. Like the cyber agent, if it finds a file or something it needs to investigate, the system prompt tells it to automatically just hand things off to the RE agent, and the RE agent will start using the decompiler and things like that to investigate the file and see what it is. Is it a false positive or is it real? See, it is legitimate development activity. So there's nothing suspicious going here. So there's a lot of false positives. What's supposed to happen is whenever it finds a false positive, there's a tool for that, and it silences it for 24 hours. After 5 of those, it will just stop checking it altogether. But I guess Haiku doesn't want to do that right now. So again, we covered checkpoints. Everything that you do, got a checkpoint for it, and you can see all the files. You can undo and redo things. Performance profiler is just mostly just for me. I can remove this. The research agent. All right, there's a video in the website, but basically just tell you what you want to search for, and then choose if you want fast, medium, or marathon, and you'll see the report built. Let's see. Actually, I have a prompt right here. Just start it, man. I hate when these guys want to play 50 questions with you. So yeah, it's going to start doing research, looking at things, and as the report's built, you'll see it here. It'll start generating here live, and you can click on it and you can open up the links that it finds. Speaking of, here's your past reports. So we'll get into daily reports in a minute, but you can find your daily reports and your research reports here. This is where your document intelligence lives. So this is where that on your models, this is where your vision model would come into play, and then your speech model. You need to make sure those are set and active. So whenever you drag and drop stuff in here, just drag in this file. So I just dragged in a audio file. It wasn't very big, but it's all searchable. I don't know why I searched for stupid. Oh, this is from the previous video that I attempted to make here. So you can actually open them up, and it's gonna search through all your documents, everything you have in here. It'll go through your intelligence reports also. So does a semantic search. It's pretty fast. It does a good job. We handle all different file types. For video, you gotta have FFmpeg installed. Other than that, pretty much works out of the box. Research, so it's still building here. It's going to keep running. So you'll have like this is kind of like an executive report here, and then on the reports tab you'll have an actual long, but you'll have the full report with all the sources and everything. Yeah, the browser, just again, built-in browser, nothing special about it. The Taskmaster. Alright, so this is good. If you watch the video where I used 800 agents at once, this is exactly how I did it. I just created 40 tasks here, and it's spun up. You can have up to 4 chat panels at once, by the way. Each chat panel can have 10 tabs, and how we got to 800 agents was each agent can call 20 parallel dispatch tools. So that's 4 chat panels, 40 chat tabs, and then 20 agents in each. That's 800 total agents running at once. Yeah, so Taskmaster, you just come in here. This is the agent that's above the table. If you're a John Wick fan, it sits above the table. You just click New Task, and this is the model that's going to be used here. And it doesn't have to be a super big model, or you can even use local models. But you can set a directive here, which actually I think I had something. Oh, by the way, this is a Notepad. It's just built in. You can like add to-do items or whatever in here, or you can click send to agent, and it'll just send it to whatever chat tab is open in the panel 1. So this is what Claude gave me to test on, which I think it failed miserably when I tried it earlier, just because I was using Anthropic. I was using a Haiku as the model, and apparently their built-in search doesn't have FrankenCoder.com as a actual website, even though it's real and been around for 6 months. But back to Taskmaster. So just put in the directive, whatever you want. So you put into directive what you want it to do. You got your directive, and then you got your the success criteria, and then you can add in your rules. You can choose the model you want to use. Let's go with Gemini. Let's see if how that one does. And then you can have a parent task, or you can add subtasks with also their own thing. And then you can also choose to have those subtasks executed sequentially or in parallel, and you can set a cost limit per task, right? So if you only want to spend $10 on this or whatever, it'll stop whenever it hits that limit. And then you can, if you have a chat tab that's already open, you can choose one to activate, or it's going to create a new one. So we'll do create task, and then let's delete this one, delete that one. And so what's going to happen is whenever I hit run up here, it's going to send a prompt to an agent. The agent's going to start doing work, and it's going to spin up whatever model I chose, which I think it was Gemini. And then when Gemini is done and it sends its final summary message like this, we take this message, we send it to this agent, and this agent's going to say, hey, did the directive get met? Was the success criteria met? And if you watch that 800 agent video closely, you can see that I even zoomed in on it, that one of the agents didn't meet the success criteria, and it didn't produce any YouTube video transcripts. The Taskmaster called it out and made it redo the work. So this is good if you got like a local model or Grok. I love it. It's cheap, but it doesn't like to work. It'll like do one thing and then it'll just stop. Like it's not proactive. It doesn't have any initiative. At least maybe that's been my experience, or maybe I don't have a good system prompt for it. So this keeps it honest and keeps it working. So you just hit run up here, and see, it just started up. It's using Gemini, the same model I set, and we'll see how it does. Here you got your log of everything, and what's going to happen is when it's done, it's going to come back and it's going to give you a status, and the status can either be it's pending, it's complete, or it needs user intervention. Got the cost right here also. The intelligence center. If you're busy like me, you don't have time to be watching YouTube and reading articles and all that stuff all day. So I've created this intelligence center, and basically you just set a schedule and you let it run for things you want to look up, right? And then you just click create new schedule, you name it, and you choose how often you want it to run. The only catch is the IDE has to be running for it to work. Also, if you have multiple instances of the IDE running, it will create multiple reports. On my roadmap is to add it to the FC hub down in your system tray, so only one report would run even if you had 10 instances running, and it'll also run even if the actual IDE is closed. That's a big project. So anyway, you choose like what model you want to use, how much effort you want to put into each of the searches, and then diff mode and generate executive summary. Those executive summary, that's either sent to your Discord and or your email, whatever you set up. So every day I get a email, and I was getting them in Discord, but I was using the FrankenCoder Discord, so I had to stop that and clean them all up. But basically, you just go to Discord, create yourself a private channel, don't invite anybody, get the webhook, go to the settings tab, enter the webhook, and then you got your own Discord intelligence brief every day. It can also be linked to your email. So far, I've only tried it with Gmail because it's what I have. I don't know if it works with like Yahoo, Hotmail, or Outlook, anything like that. If it doesn't, let me know and I'll fix it. So yeah, you can choose delivery options and stuff, and you just create the schedule. And then once you have the schedule, it's going to be blank. So you just come through and add topic, and this is where you start adding in the different things you want to look up. And then you can do web search or email analysis. I do plan to add extra things on here. Maybe you want to follow a YouTuber and, you know, see what their video is about for the day, or whatever, I don't know. Or maybe you want to use one of the APIs that we have, which again, with the APIs, I have not tested them all. I don't have an API key for 99% of that stuff. It is on my list of things to get an API key and test each one. But if you need it right now and you find it's broken, just let me know and I'll fix that. So time range, so if you can, I mean, it's all pretty self-explanatory. And then again, you can click Discord on and off, email on and off, and then, or file on and off. And so you'll have your files down here. So for the full report, you just click on it. They're long, detailed reports, and so you'll have, you know, I like the diff view because I don't like to see the same stuff every day. So it gives you all the new stuff, gives you an updated section, resolved, downgraded, ongoing, key findings, you know, recommended actions. And this is the actual one I've been using for a long time. And then you got all your reports here, and you can delete them all. You can set an automatic cleanup on them or whatever. But all the reports are automatically added to your document intelligence, so you can also search through them quick and easy if you know there was something you needed. But they're also saved in your workspace also. Don't get me lying to you. Got some transcripts there. Yes, that's still working. It's doing the search. Perplexity. Come on, Gemini, don't let me down. Of course, it is on Flex, so it doesn't guarantee that Inference will be fast at all. So it's just, like I said, if they're busy, it'll be slow, and probably I use it at off hours. It's fast for me. Yeah, see, something failed here. So yeah, now it's going to run with Haiku. Since this one failed us. Ooh, that's why the internet's out. Yeah, so the internet's out here in Hawaii, or at least at my house. We did the Intelligence Center community tab. It's not going to load anything because the internet's down. To start chatting here, it's going to show choose a username, and then we're going to append a code to it, and that's going to get saved alongside your license key on the database. And then that's how we're going to track people. So, you know, someone gets out of line, you know, they can be muted or whatever. It doesn't affect your usage of anything other than the chat that's built in here, because we're using a bot and there's no way to moderate it otherwise. You know what we damn sure can do though? That's why God invented local models. Actually, the local model can't do any web search, so it still can't complete the task. But we can change the task. Just delete both of these, add task. Let's have to do something simple. So I have it find all the prime numbers under 1,000, Python script. We'll use Gemma 4, no other tasks, and then we'll create a task. We'll start it up, and we'll see how this actually shit. There we go. Hopefully that takes effect. but I still had it set to haiku, and since there's no internet, it was going to fail. Okay. So this is a good thing also. So the summary model, if for some reason it's not reachable or not working, you're going to get a nice warning about it here in the chat. It's going to say, hey, you're not getting any summarization right now. So it's not going to stop chat. It's not going to break things, but it's another reason that we added the rebuild context here. I had a local model set as the summary model, and then the server crashed, and then like I had no warning at all about it, and so this is going to get ugly. I think each time it calls a tool in here, it's going to show one of these. Anyway, I'll clean this up also. We're just going to let this finish here. So it finished, and did it come over here? I don't know if I changed this in time. I did. Good. So as you can see, it shows it's completed, marked as done. But if it failed, then it would reject it, and this model here, this agent, would respond back to this one with a prompt and says, hey, you need to provide more information, or hey, you didn't do XYZ. And it basically keeps this agent on track. So you have your chat history here. You just click on this. You can search through them. When you open them up, it shows the first and last message of the chat. So it's helpful if you're trying to find another old chat. Like I like to have like one chat for one topic. Again, we'll go back to settings because I didn't hit everything. So we ended up on standing orders before I got sidetracked. Anyway, here's your API tab. You got all different things you can have API keys for. Again, I haven't tested all of these, so if they work or not, it's hit or miss. You know, if you need it, again, hit me up on Discord and I'll add it. The remote. So I do have a working app remote, but it's not on the app stores, and it's like a proof of concept right now. It needs a lot of work, but just ignore this for now. Like I will be building an app. My wife was pregnant last year, and I was wasting a lot of time sitting in a hospital, just waiting room, waiting for her appointments. And I was like, man, you know, if I had an app, I could still be, you know, productive and control things. So that's what the app's for. You know, you still have to work out how they communicate and everything securely. You got the app, and then voice. So there's two things here with voice, and the other part of it is on Taskmaster. You might have noticed this. So there's an actual voice agent. Right now, this is I would say this is like in the alpha stage. So we did have voice commands, and it's still here with the Copilot, and you can, you know, give it direct commands. So how it works is when a chat finishes, if you have voice on,
voice Copilot enabled.
I don't know if you can hear that, but let's go back and go to haiku. We'll just say hi. I don't know if it's just going to work at all or in the headset.
Chat hi finished. Want the summary?
It just
I didn't catch that. Try again, or I didn't catch that. Try again, or say help.
Yes. Summary.
I didn't catch that. Try again, or I didn't catch that. Try again, or say help.
Summary.
I didn't catch that. Try again, or say help.
Help. Help. Anyway, does this voice work? Hello, test 1 2. Oh, so the text or speech to text does work if you have your whisper model turned on. Tell me a story.
Chat hi finished. Want the summary?
Yes.
The debugger's dilemma. Once there was a coder named Sam who inherited the most cursed codebase in the kingdom. It had no tests, contradictory comments, variable names like thing, x2, and do stuff. Okay, one night, a bug. I didn't catch that. Try again, or say help.
That's enough. Thanks. So we'll turn that off. But anyway, so that's the voice system that we have right now, and it's very rigid. I hate it. So we built a voice agent. So you're going to be able to talk to it and more natural language. You're not going to have to give it commands. It's not going to say, oh, I didn't catch that, can I get help? It's going to try to decipher what you say to it, and then it's going to go from there. So anyway, what it does is, again, we take the last message that the agent sends, and then we ask you if you want, or actually the agent, the agent is going to actually read that, and then it's going to give you a concise summary of what it said, and it's also going to give you a recommendation. So let's say, you know, it asks you, hey, do you want to do A, B, or C, and blah, blah, blah. The voice agent is going to be able to tell you, hey, it's asking if you want to do A, B, or C. I recommend you do C. Should I go ahead with this? And then you can respond back with yeah or whatever. So you can just talk to it like, you know, you're a normal person. So that's the idea behind that. Like I said, that's, if you see it's up there in beta, and I haven't had a whole lot of time to mess with it. If you've never released or built a program, especially something like this, it's a headache. I never expected it to be so much, especially actually trying to sell it, like export control and taxes and all, damn, dealing with Microsoft and AV software who wants to block your program. Just things like that. It's a pain in the ass. Or how about code signing? You know, $1,300 for a EV cert, so Microsoft Defender doesn't block my download. So anyway, that's your voice agent controls. After I've gone off on the tangent there, and then this will be the actual agent here, where you'll be able to see all the chat, and then I think you can actually type in here too. So that covers all the settings. And then FC Inference, that's FrankenCoder Inference. What we built here comes built in, so you don't even need an extra provider. And then your chat picker, like whatever model you're running, will show up here at the top. You can come over here, you can browse models, so you can see whatever they have on Hugging Face. Presets down here. You can come down here, and this is where you choose all your settings. This is where you turn your voice model on and off. There's instructions here if you want to change the voice model. Like I said, we ship with a base model, which is okay, but if you need better accuracy or whatever, you can use one of these. And then logs, no big deal here. Because I have two instances of the IDE running at the same time, this one is using the other instances logs and everything. So you can run multiple instances at the same time of the IDE, and it'll work fine. For the searching and stuff like that, we have something called FC Embed, which comes with a BM25 index and HNSW. I think that's the right acronym for the searches. And each one, you'll have two instances running at all times. So it's not a fluke. So your indexing server will run one, and then your chat will also run one. And that's what does all the embeddings and searches for your code base. And then your chat, the one that runs your chat, also does the document intelligence stuff. So we have separation of concerns. So your chat's always going to be fast, and your indexing is always going to be fast, and they never stall each other. And then the last part here is the visual browser. You know, it works. You can open up click on stuff, drag it around, and move it. I mean, I did a video of this. You can come over here and you can change the settings of things. I'm not a web developer, which is why I need something like this. So whenever whatever AI I'm using at the time puts things wherever, I can be like, oh no, I want it here or here. This is your total workspace token tracker, cost tracker. This gives you your basic performance data. You can turn voice on and off here. You can turn voice on and off here. This is just letting you know that the browser agent is running in the background. This way you don't have to keep the browser open, and then the agent can still do screenshots. You have your attachments here, pretty standard. You can drag and drop, well, not exe. You can drag and drop files on here, and the agent will automatically get the data for that. Or you can drag and drop code. Or actually, sorry, not drag and drop. You can paste it in. It'll paste in the lines. You can do the at whatever. Just basic stuff there. We got the equation builder. So if you're taking some calculus class or whatever, whatever you're doing, you can build equations here. Chat, chat. Let's see. I think I have this on the wrong. Full planner. Let's see if this does it. It'll probably build a HTML file or something crazy. But there is a tool that I added in here. Or we'll just talk about tools while we're working on this. So here's all those API tools. So how it works is if you have an API key, then the tool will be available. Otherwise, it's blocked out. Here's all the browser tools. Computer use tools. There's actually a computer use preset for the planner. It just has the computer use tools. Computer use is a work in progress. It works like you can play chess. You can click on things, but it's using a vision model as a backup to the accessibility system. So, a lot of things will have accessibility tags in the DOM, so you can come through. You can find them real fast. You can click on them, and that's like millisecond speed, but not everything has that. So we built a backup which uses a vision model. So basically we break the screen up into quadrants. We use a vision model to scan each quadrant, get locations, everything, and then we combine that with the accessibility data that we have, and we build a map of the screen. As things change, like a certain percentage of pixels or whatever change, that quadrant gets re-imaged, and we update that. So basically the model that's using it, and any model can use the vision tools or the computer use tools. All it has to do is say click on item whatever at this coordinates, and that's how that works. I do have another system in the works called FrankenVision. The goal with that is at least 1 frame per second. Right now we got a 2K version that works at 200 milliseconds, but with and that's at floating point 16. So you quantize that down to FP4 or something, that would be a lot faster. And the plan is to push it up to 4K, and so we can get a full screen size. And basically, it's going to be an object detector, which we've been training that for a while, and it's pretty good. We built a synthetic website generator, so we generate tens of thousands of websites that look real. And then same thing with desktop. We built a synthetic desktop generator that looks just like a real Windows or Linux or Mac OS desktop. And then we built different programs like a video editing, Word editing, Excel, software editing, things like that. So we have those kind of layouts, and then we synthetically generate them. And it's pretty solid so far. The next thing is add an OCR to that. You combine the object detection with OCR, and then you take the OCR and you also give it a map of icons. So I'm going to have a huge library of icons. So it's going to be able to look at an icon and say, oh, that's Microsoft Word, or that's Excel, or whatever. It'll be easier to identify different icons. Cybersecurity tools. Again, you can assign any of these tools to any agents. The exceptions are the parallel dispatch tools. Of course, you can't assign itself to itself. The computer use tools, like some just wouldn't make sense. Can you imagine 20 agents all trying to control a mouse at the same time, or orchestration? They don't do that. For the terminal, I built several different versions. FrankenShell is the best one. It's the one with all the safety features, and put a lot of work into that. The others are just kind of like straight, Windows console, Bash, whatever. Very dumb, but they get the job done. Actually, it needs a tool artifact. If you see this, it means I rarely use it, and it doesn't have like a nice looking tool artifact like this. Alright, so we have a get tool help and a get render help. So we have the built-in renderers. Oh, here it is down here. So it can do single file, multi-file previews, live previews, and so how it works is it just shows the HTML, CSS, or whatever here in the chat, and then you can see it. Like it's good for like mock-ups and things like that. Like you can change the size of them to whatever. All these, I think we switched it to be manually started. They used to show automatically. It would just freeze up things because you would open up your IDE and like all of those would start loading at once. So they're all manual now. You actually have to click on them and well, you can search in your chat. There's a search bar up here. Let's see, what can we search for? Stats. So you can search through your chat and your again chat panels. You can add or close chat panels here. You can have one up to 4. If you have any questions, hit me up on Discord. Happy to answer anything you may want to know. Oh, well, the other thing is you can pin messages. You can just right click and you can pin to the top. So if it's an important chat, you can export it, you can rename it or whatever, you can delete it. And I said, should I buy FrankenCoder? I didn't tell this guy that I'm FrankenCoder. You see there's only two prompts here. It says maybe, but it comes down here and it says why be cautious. It appears early stage beta. Yeah, that's true. The sandbox mode, so it didn't actually say that. That was hidden in the header, but we went ahead and cleaned that up. It wasn't human readable. Huge feature surface area. Complex systems. It's ambitious in some parts, maybe rough. Maybe. And it's true, you still pay for AI. Like I don't offer any inference. You bring your own model here. But you can pay a subscription, and if you go on vacation, you're still paying that subscription. Or you can get an API key and only pay for what you use. But you're still paying the same API cost whether you're paying for that subscription and the API. Small vendor risk. Yeah, it's true. What if you stop maintaining it? It's honest, but you own it. Stop maintaining it. So FrankenCoder this is what I've been using for the past 4 months. I started building it with Cursor, and Cursor is a good product. But like I got annoyed. Chat would freeze up on me. Like I have long chats and they kept freezing up, so I'd have to cancel it and start a new chat, and start everything all over. Keep telling the agent the same things over and over again. I hate that. And maybe I just wasn't using Cursor right. Who the hell knows? But I know you can set workplace rules and things like that, but it didn't really seem like they took practical recommendation. And I said, oh gee, thanks man. You're talking to me, the developer. But and then we started talking about different things, and it was like, oh yeah, you should do this and this and this, and yeah. But agents or models lie. I think actually one of my standing orders is to don't bullshit me. Never stop working. Never ignore errors. If the system is fundamentally broken, tear it down. I don't like trying to hack fixes or patch things up. I'll just completely wipe it out and do a full refactor. I think we've had 7 or 8 full refactors of the chat, 7 or 8 of the indexing server. In fact, we just did indexing again yesterday. I found out that if you watched an older video or something, you'll see that there used to be 5 stages here. And I was digging into it and I was like, are we even using these stages anymore? And it turns out we wasn't. So we just got rid of those altogether. So now we're just do 3 stages. Yeah, I was paying $2,000 to $3,000 a month in Cursor anyway on top of my subscription. So I was like, why not just build my own, and then where I can use local models. So I do try to use local models a lot, as much as I can. As you can see, so I have a RTX Pro 6000. It's got the 96 gigs or 120B model there, no problem. So like Nematron or Quins or whatever, and they're pretty good. They can get stuff done, but they do need some hand holding. And if you have a harder task, you switch over to a cloud model. I'm definitely not rich. I'm retired. I did 25 years in the Army. Before I retired in 2023, I was going to get out and make video games. Sometime last year, I think mid to early last year, Cursor changed their prices, and I went from paying a couple $100 a month to $700 a month. So I was like, shit, I don't make that kind of money anymore. So I started looking for alternatives, and I tried Continue. I tried IntelliJ. I paid $700 for that, and it turned out to be just a fancy chatbot. They said that you could use local models, which they did have support for Llama and VLLM, but they couldn't use tools. All they could do was chat with you. And so I was like, well, I just paid $700 for this. I can't even use tools. If I wanted to copy and paste, I could do that from Claude or GPT. So I started saying, okay, I'll look into building my own, and we started building a whole UI out of Rust, and had this elaborate plan. And I was like, well, why can't we just build on the VS Code, and then I think it was Claude 3.5 or 3.7 at the time kept telling me, oh, that's going to take years and years, you can't do it. And they have a full team. Again, they always overestimate on times. Like, if they say it's going to take a year, I say a month. If they say months, I say days. If they say weeks, I think hours, at most. And most of that is me testing. It's not them actually building it. I don't type code anymore. Like, build whatever I want, and then I test it. We always build a testing harness. Yeah, so that's a standing order, actually. So when you build something, you do a testing harness also, and then the agent tests it first, and then I go through and I also manually test it myself. And then in most cases, it'll be an agent in the IDE itself doing the testing. So that's my workflow. I started on this August 14th, 2025. My twins were born 29 August. Hell, around December, Claude kept saying, ship it, ship it, ship it, ship it. I did a side-by-side comparison with Cursor. So I used FrankenCoder and Cursor. I had them both do the same task. Cursor finished in like 7 minutes, and it cost like $1.22. I used the same model on both also. And then FrankenCoder finished in like 14 minutes, and it same model, and it cost like $7. So I was like, shit, this thing ain't ready for release. And so I started digging into it, and it turned out I was breaking the prompt caching because we was injecting the current time, how many files was in the workspace into the system prompt. And so every single turn, it just destroyed the prompt caching. And so that was the point where I said, oh, this thing ain't ready for release. But I've been using it nonstop since January. I haven't touched Cursor. Actually, that's a lie. On my Linux computer, before I had a Linux version of FrankenCoder, which I do now, I just did that like a few weeks ago. So that's up and working now also. But I would use Cursor over there to get some things done. But anyway, so every time I thought it was ready for release, I would do a thorough testing, and I'd be like, oh, well, shit, this is broke, or that's broke. And I'm like, well, no. And even now, I still don't feel super comfortable releasing it. This is the first time I've ever tried to sell anything, and I wasn't even going to sell this to begin with. It was Claude who started mentioning it. Like, oh yeah, you should sell it and have a $50 a month subscription or whatever. And I was like, no. So I said, if I do sell it, it'd be for like $39 or something, and I was going to put it on Steam. And yeah, Steam. Claude was like, oh no, wait, just stop right there. No one's going to take you serious if you sell it for $39. And it was trying to get me to sell it for like $2.99 for individuals and like $5.99 for enterprise. And I was like, no, like, when have one price, and the price is the price. It's like, well, trying to get me to limit the number of installs. Like, oh, you can only install it on 3 machines. No. You can install it on every machine you own. I have 10 computers here between desktops and laptops. No, I don't believe in that limiting shit. I believe when you buy something, you own it, and you use it. Like, no one's gonna say, oh, well, we're going out of business, you can't use it anymore, or we're changing ownership, you can't use it anymore, or you're locked into this model, whatever. I grew up in the 80s and the 90s, and back when they had freeware, you'd pass your floppy disk around with Doom on it and Wolfenstein. You go to Walmart and buy a game for $7, and you didn't have to pay $20 every 3 months for a season pass. Just shit's getting out of hand nowadays with all this, microtransaction and renting software. And like, I bought a damn TV, and it's fine. I bought 2 of them actually. I've had them for like 5 years, and just here a few months ago, they just randomly started playing commercials on the menu. Like, what the hell's going on here? Why is my TV, that's a smart TV, not connected to any terrestrial TV? It's playing commercials. And then that TV crapped out. It just died. And now the other one is also dying because now it's playing commercials all the time. Yeah, it's, like Amazon Prime. I've been using it for 20 years. All of a sudden they started playing commercials again unless I pay them another $3 to skip commercials. Well, I already pay you, assholes. Stop trying to, bleed me dry here. Anyway, that was the getting started with FrankenCoder. It's been, we'll see how much of this I keep in. And failure is always an option, especially when you're dealing with AI. It's not perfect. We should be real about that.